City of Charleston Councilman Mike Seekings made news around the world on October 3rd when he officiated a wedding during the Charleston flood and rain event. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with him one-on-one. So, we're sitting blocks away from Charleston City Hall, and in less than 2 weeks we'll have a new mayor of Charleston. And already, as you know, it's Jenny Deering versus Leon Stavronakis. And as you know, Jenny Deering said in her recent ad that Stavronakis voted against a $400 million transportation bill that would help Charleston if possible. Meanwhile, Leon says he voted against the bill because it would raise taxes and reduce share all at once. Tell me as we sit here right now, Mike, who's right and who's wrong?
Well, let me start by saying, you know, this is a race of 6 people. It's not just 2 that are running for the mayor's seat, and I sit in a unique position. There's one of 6 of us that know for sure that after Election Day we'll still be sitting on that city council and working with whoever comes along. So, you know, the campaign has been what it is. I look at all the 6 candidates to listen to what they have to say, and you know, if someone's going to run on their record, it speaks for itself. Whenever we run, public officials, we run on a record. So I don't want to get in a middle of a brawl between 2 of 6 candidates are out there, but I'm very interested in this race, obviously, both as a citizen of Charleston, as a member of City Council, and someone who's interested in many of the issues that they're talking about. And I think the issues are what we really need to focus on. And for me, beyond the issue that they all seem to have jumped on, which is 526, which I'd love to talk about, there are other issues I think we really need to sort of focus on with these candidates, such as how we're going to run this city economically. And I haven't heard a lot about that, actually. I'd like to hear a little bit more.
And let's talk more about 526. A lot of people say that really it's a county-state issue. When you think of that, what do you say?
Well, I have this saying, it's a sort of tried saying, 526 is code rather than a road. And what 526 says to me is we need to address some major transportation woes that we have, not just in the city of Charleston, the county of Charleston, but the Tri-County area, and now, as you know, after what's happened in the last 2 weeks, if not before, statewide. So I think it's interesting that every single one of the candidates for mayor has jumped on an issue, 526, that they say is going to be built immediately. I think that's optimistic, to say the least. I think that we really should focus in on what we can do now. And there are some things that we can do at the city and county level now, rather than waiting on the funding, the political will, and the action on 526, which I think you could probably come here 4 or 5 years from now and we'll still be saying, where is it? But what about, you know, intersections such as Main Road and 17, the end of the James Island Connector? Those things we need to focus on now. We can do it now. We've got the resources. I think we've got unanimity that needs to happen. So it's been interesting to see how 526 has become the battle cry. I think post-election what you're going to see is that will be code for let's all get together locally, on the county level, and regionally, and see where we are in terms of transportation dollars and what we need to do now. And I think we'll scale it down to build it back up again.
And let's stay in the mayor's race, because when I talked with you yesterday, and you thought I wanted to do an interview with you right then and there, and I had my running clothes on.
Right.
But you adamantly said that you're not endorsing any candidate.
Again, I'm one of 6 that knows that after Election Day, we're going to be sitting around that table with the new mayor and with a council of 12, and I'm going to work with whoever gets elected. I'm going to work for the things that I believe in, I strongly believe in, one of which, as you know, is transportation. And again, on a both local and regional level. On the economics of the city, there's some infrastructure needs that we have that are in desperate need of attention. The battery. I want to make sure we talk about tourism and balance and implementation of the tourism management plan. I think at some point we've got to get to a point where we have an understanding on how the cruise industry fits in the long-term plan. Those are the things I'm looking forward to working on with the next mayor, and whoever it is, I'm ready to go day one, and I'm sure they will be too.
And someone else, you said, well, really something else you said no to was throwing your hat into the Charleston mayor race.
Yeah, again, I'm not a candidate. There are 6 that are, but I'm going to be part of it. It's a job that I think is important, and I'm looking forward to supporting and working with whoever gets elected. There's a long way between now and then, and we'll see what happens with me politically. But for now, very honored to be a member of Charleston City Council and to represent downtown Charleston, which, as you know, I mean, you work downtown, I see you every day walk here on the streets, has a lot of things going on. And through this mayoral election, there's still things going on. I mean, a lot of people see people talking about what might happen. We're working every day to make sure that we keep a proper balance in downtown Charleston. and make sure that it remains a place where people who live here want to stay. That's a real focus for me.
And when I was talking to some folks about your potential mayor run, they said that you were thinking about this. And this was months ago, February, March, April. And as summer actually closed just a few weeks ago, you said no. So talk to me about what got you from I might run for mayor to no, not this time.
Well, as you know, everything in life is about timing. And for me, the timing may not have been perfect. I have my job at City Council. Right. We're sitting in my offices right now. As you know, I'm surrounded by a wonderful staff. Right. I've got a great law firm, but we have a lot going on. So I had that to consider, and my family. So once it was all shook out, this probably wasn't the best timing. But I will tell you, it's a job I'm interested in. There's no question about it. And we'll remain close by to see what's going on and make sure that the next administration moves the city in the right direction. And I look forward to being a big part of that.
You said no to Mayor Charleston, but you may be saying yes to Columbia.
Maybe.
As you know, Chip House basically said, I'm not seeking re-election for House District 110. And I'm wondering why you?
Well, again, as you know, recently I've been elected chairman of CARTA. That is not by mistake. I've served on the CARTA board for a long time because I'm interested in the issues of transportation, the alt I-26 study, that whole corridor, what's going to happen in the Tri-County area, I think is key to livability, economic development, and the continued viability of Charleston and the Charleston region is a growing area. And transportation is not a local issue. Local has a huge part of it, but transportation is a regional issue driven in this state, as you know, at the State House. So that may be a seat, I live in that district, and that may be a seat that will allow me to advance the things that I'm working on today for the benefit of the people of Charleston. So that's a seat that we're looking hard at, and I'm going to make a decision after this election. The election isn't for another year on that, so it gives me a lot of time to see how things unfold here at the city. My number one objective and my number one allegiance is to the city of Charleston, to my district, and to the people of Charleston, and I'm willing to serve them the best way I think I can and in the way that they choose.
And CARTA is actually advancing.
CARTA is advancing. I'm very proud of where we've come at CARTA. We have a lot of challenges. We move 5.5 million people a year, as you know, through the system, 1.5 million downtown, on the oldest fleet in America, with a budget that is very difficult to balance. So we have a lot of challenges. But we're going to work through them. We've made some adjustments recently. We are shrinking our budget deficit. We're going to get to a point where we're balanced. We've just ordered new buses for both some of our local routes and for the Downtown Dash. So we are moving, and CARTA is definitely part of the answer, not part of the problem, to the Tri-County regional transportation challenges, and I am excited about being one of many who are part of that, and to be the chairman is an honor.
And CARTA actually teamed up with Verizon to provide free Wi-Fi services.
It's really amazing. I mean, in this day and age, if you want people to take public transportation, you have to do a few things. One is provide a service that's attractive, on time, makes people want to be there. And look, we're in 2015. When people go places, they want to be connected. Wi-Fi is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity. It's an absolute necessity. And if we're going to get people on the bus to commute, to spend more than 5, 10, 15 minutes on it, the Wi-Fi really is something that they're going to expect, that we need to provide. And so this partnership with Verizon, which is a 2-year partnership, we're off and running, I think will be something that will go on for forever, as long as CARTA exists, which will be a long time. And the feedback we've gotten early has been fantastic, and we will continue to expand on that. And what's amazing is we've gotten calls from around the country from other transportation systems asking, how did you do that?
Because you guys said you were the first.
Right. Well, one of the first. I'd like to say it was complicated, not so much complicated, but just it took some dedication, some staff, and Verizon partnering up with us. It is technically doable, as we've shown. It's working. We haven't had any glitches on it. So we're up and running. CARTA's buses are running, and there's Wi-Fi on them. So come on, let's get people on them.
And right after that big announcement, as you know, the historic flooding and rain took place here in Charleston.
Right.
And I want to take you back to October 3rd.
That was a tough time for a lot of people, as you know.
But you made it good. Because it was Seekins who actually met Brittany and Jason.
Well, you know, let me just say, it was an amazingly difficult time for not just Charleston, but for the state. That flooding was not only historic, but devastating, and all of us, I think, felt the effects of it. I'm just one of many. I happened to be walking around downtown, and there they were. There was a couple that was already downtown. They'd been here for a while, and on they're on the TV pleading for some help. So I was lucky enough, I was honored actually, to be part of their wedding ceremony, which otherwise would not have gone forward. And it was really an amazing experience, and it showed once again that Charleston, in the light of difficult times, can rally around. I mean, this couple had been here, they'd spent a lot of money and time, their family was already here, we didn't do anything that was dangerous, everyone was already in one spot. And off we went. There was a wedding that happened for a young couple from Kansas City. There were 2 College of Charleston students, juniors, who were photography majors, who literally walked over through the floods with their cameras. A DJ showed up. A couple, 3 people came to help serve, and right in all of that came a happy time for them, something that they'll always remember. And it was a bright spot in what was otherwise a couple of difficult weeks, as you know.
And I know from what I read, you actually called John Bruce, but he wasn't there. So you called Stacey Jacobson, who got you in touch with the folks in the newsroom.
I saw them on TV, so I called through to the newsroom, and it sort of all snowballed from there, and there we were. So, yeah, really nice couple. We'll get them back to Charleston, by the way.
You should.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
and you were talking to me yesterday upstairs that you got a call from Inside Edition.
So as elected official, you always wonder when things like Inside Edition calls, but that story got picked up around the country by every local news feed just about. In fact, it was in the London Daily Mail. My cousin is a businessman in London, and he called me and said it was in the paper there. So, yeah, it landed on Inside Edition and CNN. And again, it was really showed a positive event in Charleston. And I just want to say, given the year that we've been through in Charleston, and there's been many challenges, there's always something that comes from it that paints Charleston for what it is, which is a community. And so proud to be part of it and be able to get on and say, look, we as a community, in light of yet another challenge, rallied to help people. That's what we do here, and that's what makes it so exciting to be part of the community at currently my city council position, and see what happens going forward. It's been an honor.
Describe to me the following word.
Sure.
The Murray Emanuel Wade Memorial District.
Well, necessary, something that appropriately lets people know where they are in real time and space, and can, in their own way as they get there, memorialize those who paid the ultimate price for a one-off lunatic who came into our city and created mayhem. So, great.
Mayor Riley leaving.
Historic, and going to be an interesting time for Charleston. But again, for all he's done, and it's been a lot, he has now set the stage for the city to succeed.
Sure, you're right about that.
Definitely.
Well, Councilman Mike Seekins, it's always good talking to you.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Off camera.
That's right. Well, thank you very much. Let's chat after the election and see where we go.
Sure,
right?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
I appreciate that.